There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I am Sean Fangirl.
And I'm Steve, and today we'll be discussing Episode 7 of Season 4 of Wynonna Earp. We're back, baby!
We're back. Voldemort's back. Okay, wait, wrong one. Sorry. Okay, I kept thinking that this wasn't the second half of Season 4, that this was actually Season 5. I'm like, yeah, we got Season 5, but it's a short season. And then Steve had to say, no, ding dong. It's just the rest of the season that we've been waiting on forever. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been so long.
And of course, Sci-Fi had to break our hearts again, as on February 5th, they announced that Season 4B, which will start airing on March 5th, will be the last one on Sci-Fi Channel.
They are still fighting, though. So do not give up.
No.
Keep tweeting, keep doing everything, because there are huge campaigns for this right now. Like, there's billboards, and I swear I read at some point that they were taking out advertising in Times Square. Like,
it
people
wouldn't
were
surprise
donating.
We did it for they did it for Season 4, so why not do it for hashtag Bring Wynonna Home?
Right? And the fight for 5 has been going for a while.
Yes. Even though Sci-Fi said that, oh yeah, we'll definitely carry it through Season 5, so they reneged on that promise from a year and a half ago.
Right. I don't know. I just feel like the pandemic has sucked so bad. It's screwed up so much stuff for everything. I don't know how many shows are going to make it through the other end of this, basically.
Right.
All right. So, what seems like a million moons ago.
Yes.
We had received some feedback that came in after episode 6, after we had already published, unfortunately. So, we are going to start with that feedback. So, throw your memory back and let's listen to Jazz. And I don't mean music.
Hello, this is Jazz with some comments about Wynonna Earp. You had a question about Waverly shooting Rosita, or Wynonna shooting Rosita. It was actually Waverly who did it, because Wynonna was busy having her kid, and Peacemaker glowed blue, and Rosita got nicked in the head, which gave her enough of a hint to leave, so that Waverly wouldn't kill her. And the reason she got nicked in the head and ran was because she was trying to sell Wynonna's baby to the Revenants, who might have eaten her or done something worse. And before she was able to shoot it, Wynonna gave Waverly a pep talk and then screamed at Peacemaker to actually shoot, and so it shakily shot, and therefore that's why Rosita got nicked. But you could see blood, I think, in the right side of her temple. So it didn't kill her, but I'm sure it didn't feel good. And I thought that the one-liners on the show are awesome for this season, which is Season 4. I really liked the humor, which is juxtaposed with some of the angst and interesting plot twists. Some of my favorite one-liners are, okay, warrior princess, what's the plan? A She-Ra reference. And then when Kat threw a knife at her, she's like, what up, Kermit? I like that. Oh, and the reason that the big gun with the button that Wynonna's not supposed to press is called Anthony is because Jeremy said that he called it Anthony because it makes the best guac around, which means it liquefies everything. And so he thought, of course, that should be Italian because they make the best guac, according to him, and that's why he named it Anthony. It was literally said in the episode. Let's see, Ma'am cursed Wynonna, and that's why she had the sea rock in her jacket, and that's why Rachel's new beau thought that she was cursed, and then he pulled out the tooth because it had a root in it, very long, painful looking root, which evidently made the actor almost gag quite a few times, because one of the phrases that he said when he did his spell to give protection to Rachel dealt with the root. And so I guess you need a root. And he took it out of his tooth. Yuck. Just gave me the willies. Let's see. Oh, and the sea above the glowing door for the garden was actually for the Clantons because Ma'am had connected to Doc so that he could see the glowing door. And there, when somebody had done a freeze frame and you could see sea above the particular doorway that they ran through. So that's why they ran through that one. Let's see, I think Uncle Vic is actually the zombie who went after people before we got Billy. I kind of like Billy. So I'm thinking he's already dead and gone. So even if the curse of his family is stopped, I don't think he's coming back to life anytime in the near future. And let's see, that's probably about it for now. I'll give you some more thoughts if I think of any others. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Jazz, for clarifying a few questions that we had, especially about who actually shot Rosita.
I feel like I said, it's been so long, like I'm trying to remember everything about like that part of the season. And yeah, because that's even going further back. So
right. Yeah, we're talking all of season 4 so far. So
yeah, it's like, first of all, Jazz, I want to say I love that you had notes. I can just hear you going through all your pages.
Yes.
Because I am glad I'm not the only one. Because I have notes as I'm going through the episode. Usually I have to watch twice so I can get all my notes. And second, yeah, thanks for clearing up a lot. And some of it is just like me having brain farts. I'm like, when you said it, it's like, yeah, I know that. It's like, oh, I didn't know that then.
Right.
So yeah, I swear there's a brain rattling around in my big dome, but sometimes it doesn't come out that way.
Right.
But thank you so much for all of the information again and clearing up our questions. And I hope that you will be paying closer attention than I do for the rest of the season because like I already have anxiety knowing that we're coming to the end of this, possibly the series. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be like, but what about this? And you and Steve both are probably going to be like, it's right there. It said it 12 times. And I'm like, but I didn't pay attention because I was crying. So Steve, do you want to say anything about Jazz and all of her awesome information? Anything additional, I should say?
Yeah, it was nice to hear the reason why Jeremy called the massive gun Anthony. That was pretty cool. And yeah, I did not see the sea above the door that they used to get out of the garden. And
I was going to say that too.
Yeah,
I didn't
perfect sense.
pay attention. Now I got to rewatch it all. Dang
Yeah.
it. Because I don't sit here and watch reruns of stuff as it is. Now I'm going to be like, what's going on? I feel like this is with some of our other shows where you're trying to catch every little bit of things happening.
Right.
Which is why I'm glad that we get feedback from like Jazz and Fred and other people who randomly send us stuff, even if it's just a little like, hey, did you see this? Because there's so much going on. I can't catch it all.
Right. And this episode definitely gets into that territory real quick.
Yeah, and there's something I'm going to ask you when we get to it, once I see where we are, because there's definitely a head scratcher for me.
Right.
But before we get there, let's just jump in with our synopsis that sci-fi always gives us that makes us terribly angry, usually.
Well, not so much this time.
Episode 7, Love's All Over. A bet goes horribly wrong as Waverly and Nicole try to celebrate their engagement. What? That was spot on!
That's because I wrote it.
Oh, sci-fi. I think somebody needs to hire Steve.
Yes.
To at least write your synopsis. Okay, so the gang's all here. Yay! I love that we're getting stuff happening and we get to see everybody and we're not like, all right, well, we're not going to see XYZ for 3 episodes because that would be killing us, I think.
Well, we didn't have Jeremy in this episode, so.
I feel like we didn't have Jeremy a lot this season.
Well, yeah, we haven't. We've only seen him twice, I think.
I know. Varun, what are you doing? Why aren't you here with us?
Yeah.
We need a big puppy dog smile and a hug from Mr. Brains. So what's going on? But I don't know why I forgot about Jeremy. I'm very upset. We didn't have Jeremy and, oh my gosh.
His boyfriend.
We haven't seen him in like forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The vampire. Why am I forgetting her name?
Rosita.
No, the other vampire too. The one that turned Doc.
Yeah, that was Rosita.
Wait, no, not Rosita.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Big Nose Kate, but I can't think of her name. Yeah. Blanking. But yes, oh my gosh. gosh, like we're missing some of our, like now that I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, we are missing some.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a lot of the crew. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So let's start with an interesting combo that I wasn't exactly sure we would see, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So things are starting to look normal, and I say that in quote in purgatory because, well, normal never is normal. But we see cars parked in town, the train goes by, and hey, normalness. And Wynonna, drunk as hell, in her leather pants, leather bra top, leather jacket, wandering around the woods with none other than her lovely gun.
Yes.
And Peacemaker is ready to go, right? So yeehaw. And when we pull away from her drunkenly wandering around the woods, assumably hunting monsters, we see Nicole giving Waverly a ring again, sitting on a couch in front of the High River Motel in the parking lot. What?
Yeah.
What? Like, as I'm watching this, I'm going, what is happening?
Yes. It was very strange.
Yeah. And a guy who looks like he's drunk, I'm not quite sure, walking past them saying, get a room. They're super cheap. It's like, okay. Why are you sitting on that couch out front? Like,
Yeah. You could have at least put it at the homestead.
like, that's supposed to be the couch from the police department, I'm guessing? Like their couch?
It might have been, yeah. I know later on, Nicole mentions the couch, but...
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why is it out there by the motel?
Yeah.
And her ring, like, okay, so I have a question about the ring. I know, completely random. What was it? Because it looked like a chunk of rock.
Right, yeah, it
Like,
definitely looked like
just rock.
a piece of rock. Now, yeah, it was green and it was pretty, but I'm thinking it's a family heirloom of Nicole's.
Okay, I'm like, did I miss something? Am I not remembering something? Because I don't remember the ring looking like that. I don't remember a ring.
Well, it wasn't Bolshar's ring that Nicole had.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody remembers this ring or anything about it, please let us know because I am just at a loss.
Yeah. Jazz will probably let us know.
Or we'll have to maybe tweet and see if we get an answer back from anybody.
Right.
Like Emily, perhaps.
Yes.
Who might know. Who should know. But anyway, let's go back to Wynonna. And hey, look at Peacemaker is lighting up. So she apparently found who she was looking for. But that person, I say that lightly, is at the back end of a buck feeding. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I was freaking out and it's like, come on out. And it turns out it's Eamon feeding. And they both, oh my gosh, they're killing me. They both lock eyes and they're like, holy shit, at the same time. So
awesome.
Great. It's like, oh, I see you found your gun. With the information that I gave you, it's like, hint, hint, don't shoot me. I helped you find it. She's like, I got my mojo back as well. You didn't help me with that, but maybe you should make your peace. And Eamon stands up and he's wearing a really weird, I don't know, supposed to be semi-stylish, like rubber apron.
Right.
I didn't quite get that. I'm like scratching my head as I'm looking at it. Going, why are you trying to be stylish if you're trying to use that and be practical?
Right.
Although she does make fun of him a little bit, which I find amusing. Yeah. But anyway, Wynonna in her drunken state holds Peacemaker up to her ear and tells Eamon, oh, Peacemaker says monsters are monsters, even if you know all the goss. And I love it. Yeah. What the hell are you wearing? Are you wearing a lobster bib from something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they discuss his food choice for a moment. And she decides to remind Eamon, I can kill you at any time. And I love it. He's like, oh, who told you my kink? It's like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
She's drunk and looking for a fight. So maybe don't approach her.
Yeah.
Looking all like a bloody mess. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Don't antagonize a drunk Wynonna.
No. Not who just got Peacemaker back, too. Yeah. Whew, that could be bad. So he leaves. And you know what? He did. Okay, this might get me in trouble. He did make a point that he wasn't killing anybody.
Right.
And of course, she's like, oh, Bambi might have a different idea there.
Yeah.
And she's trying to be all badass, which she normally is, except in this weird drunken state. And Eamon's like, listen, Bambi here is food. I don't see you wearing, zucchini leather jacket.
Right.
I mean, she's decked out in leather, so it's like, like, yeah, I mean, if he's not killing a person.
Right.
So, I mean, that's obviously the goal. Would that technically make him like a vegetarian? I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Because we saw
like,
Doc doing the same thing, so.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's going to take the meat and like do something to it and like give it out. I don't know. This is weird. This is where my brain goes because I'm weird, but whatever. So now I'm done with Eamon. Eamon stalks off all mad. Like, I wasn't done eating, but fine. And like, I half expected Wynonna to just fall over because she just looked like she was not going to be standing for very long.
Right.
We get to go back and see Nedley, who is in Shorty's. Is it even Shorty's anymore? Have they changed the name? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it's now Nedley's. Or at least that's what I'm going with.
He's behind the bar and, oh no, he's in front of the bar, sorry, popping a bottle of bubbly to celebrate the newly engaged couple, which I feel like this is definitely a time jump, which obviously we know it's a time jump, but even in the show, because Waverly just looks a lot different.
Right.
I know it's more than just a haircut. So I just wonder what the time jump is supposed to be, because the bar looks different. It's back to normal. It's not that weird, I don't know, holistic thing. Town looks normal. Waverly looks different. You know, just like all this stuff has happened. So I just kind of wish we had like, hey, 3 months later, you know, something so we know. Although I do feel like Waverly says something. Doesn't she say it's like a week or a month or something?
Yeah, it's probably a week or so because the last episode they proposed, she proposed. So
I feel like
too much
should be like further out, but
yeah.
Anyway, Nicole, Waverly, Doc, all toast. Well, actually, Rachel was there too.
Yes.
Didn't she just get juice?
Yes.
they toast the happy couple. And Nedley, of course, informs Doc, hey, the real engagement party is tomorrow night. So you're going to have to make sure you're ready to go. And Doc's like, yeah, I probably can't make that party. And makes a really uncomfortable toast.
Yes. It's about stealing kisses.
They're quite the words, but yeah. And Rachel's like, awkward.
At least he apologizes to her.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sometimes a gentleman forgets himself. It's like,
Especially in a bar.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. Of course, Nedley's like, okay, to get your head out of this situation, why don't you go get some more ice, Rachel? It's like, off you go. Oh, and here at this point, okay, Waverly tells Doc it's been a month with this Wynonna thing. Maybe it's just a blip and everything's over. And Doc's like, it's not a blip. And it took me a minute. It really did take me a minute to realize what it was. And it was when she shot Clanton.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, is it Doc's guilt or Doc just mad that she went against what he was doing, or the fact that she even did it? Like, there's so many things. Like, I don't know why Doc was.
Well, Doc was trying to actually come up with a peaceful solution to this. And Wynonna just said, screw that. I'm going to get rid of him, and shot him in the back. So, yes, it's really Doc that has more of the problem with what Wynonna did than Wynonna having a problem with Doc. Earlier we saw where Wynonna basically told Doc he's not welcome at the homestead because he's a vampire. Well, now it's Doc's turn to say, no, I don't want anything to do with you because you're a bloody killer and I'm trying to be a better person.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what this means for Doc and Wynonna. I feel like they had their happiness for that brief moment, and with them being pulled apart and all of this, it's like, is everybody going to be unhappy by the end of this show, basically, is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Doc and Wynonna, that's for sure.
This isn't good, but fingers crossed. We do find out Nedley is making a go of the bar because apparently his daughter dumped his whole pension into the bar, and, well, he doesn't have anything else to do. So, all right, well, you're going to need some help, of course. And Nedley's like, yeah, look around. There's not exactly people banging down my door. And of course, hey, we need to plan something, get rid of what's in the basement because we don't want people finding out. They're already mad that I took potato skins off the menu. Now, I think it's funny because nobody would be able to see what was down there, although they would be able to see the chains, so maybe that would just be weird.
Right. Yes, that would be extremely weird.
Yeah.
Especially when it moves.
Right. I'm assuming that's like the storeroom too, so you can't put stuff down there.
Yep.
So, let's see. That's something we're going to put a pin in because I don't know if that's going to be taken care of at all.
Right.
And anyway, we get a weird little throwaway line that makes me wonder what this is about because Doc tells Waverly he learned woodworking from his uncle, and if you wanted to be married under an arbor, it'd be my honor to make you one. It's like, that's great. It just seems like, is this like a thing? Is it going to matter in the big picture with what's going on in purgatory? It just seems weird because normally we don't get little lines in there that don't connect somehow.
Right. And I really think it probably has to do with something that Wynonna discusses with Waverly a little later on and her obsession with bridal scrapbooks.
Oh, like because when he was in the barn, like maybe he's seen it or something.
Right. It's very possible.
And anyone who doesn't know what an arbor is, it's really kind of hard to explain, I guess, just from looking at it. But it's like a pergola or like a little arch or something that you would
press looking thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of different things.
Types.
Arbors date back to early Egyptian and Roman gardens.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know Doc is old, but he's not that old.
No.
But maybe it's like a tradition, that's like a lot of people do. I don't know, backyard weddings kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, again, I feel like there might be more to it. So, I don't know. Again, we'll put a pin in it. As they like to say at work, we'll put that in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So then we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get Wynonna walking in saying her awesome line, because Wynonna and her lines, I hope they keep going like this all season.
Yes.
Slap my ass and call me the sister-in-law. And then she sees Doc, says, not you. You are not allowed to partake in the slapping of ass. Like, sure they have, but that's a whole nother story.
Right.
And of course, Doc's like, congratulations waves. I gotta go. Oh, Doc and Wynonna, this hurts me.
Yes,
because I was
does.
like, oh, they were happy and not so much.
Yeah.
Wynonna's like, of course, why are you hanging out with the lame ranger? And Waverly's like, where the hell have you been? So that is going to get bumpy if Wynonna isn't telling her that she is out hunting monsters again.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm sure Wynonna does not want Waverly out there anywhere near the possibility of a door opening to the garden to take her again.
Right.
Like, listen, you've been busy. You're celebrating your engagement. I've been busy making plans for what? Oh, your bachelorette party. Girls' night out. Woohoo. I love it. It's like, okay, what was I doing? Because I'm half in the bag and I don't know what I should say right now. So girls' night out ends up at a strip club, or at least at a bar that had girls' night. So it was male strippers. And of course, our little trio was not looking too keen, but well, two of our trio.
Yes. Wynonna was enjoying herself. Nicole and Waverly, not so much.
Yeah.
No, Waverly was definitely dressed for the occasion, shall we say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I feel like Waverly's clothes have changed already. Like, her fashion style this half of the season seems to really be different.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you're an angel, I guess. You're like, whatever, I can rock all of it.
Yep.
Let's go back to Nedley's, aka Shorty's, aka, we don't know it. It's just the bar. Rachel is like, yeah, can I get a bourbon on the rocks? And Nedley's like, no, but I'll give you some juice because you should be in school. And of course she's like, yeah, and Billy should be in school. I didn't know he was a Clanton. Look what happened. That he's some weird monster. This is bad. And of course Nedley's like, I don't blame you for everything that happened. The world was on fire and you did the best you can. But how about we kind of try to go back to normal? And she does throw in the fact that she's like, listen, you were a barnacle, Nedley, and you ate Nicole's cat, Calamity Jane. That was horrible. And he's like, what? No, let's never speak of this again.
Yeah. That was an ouch.
Yeah. I'm like, why would you do that? That was not something he chose.
Right. But she was being defensive too. So
like,
yeah, it just, she felt like she was being attacked. And so she just attacked right back. And she apologized for snapping at him like that. But
yeah, that was just like, oh, ouch. Well, a little salt to that wound. So after they kind of have a moment of, all right, you know what? We will just be snipping at each other if something doesn't change. Hey, Rachel, how about you be my new bar back? And of course, Rachel seemed a little surprised. Like, what, Natalie, you really want that? Yes, of course. Except you don't get to drink the booze and you don't get to go in the basement. It's like, oh, okay, well, I feel like all of a sudden she's like, oh, don't go in the basement, eh?
Yeah.
Even though she knows the situation
Yep.
and knows that he was sent to kill her,
Yep.
this isn't going to stop her.
No.
And that worries me because we don't know, just because Ma'am is dead, if anything's changed in, I don't want to say his programming, but his directive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we know Holt's gone and Ma'am's gone and Billy is a Reaper. We still don't know what happened to Cleo. So
Right.
they aren't out of the woods as far as the Clantons go.
As long as they're still alive.
Yep.
I think this is bad. I mean, yeah, unless all the Reapers die off when the person who makes them dies, which I doubt,
Yeah.
then I think we're in trouble. But again, let's kind of put that to the side while we go to the strip club. Like we said, yeah, girls' night out, Nicole and Waverly not looking too impressed. Of course, Wynonna calls over one of the dancers and says, hey, we got a bride over here. And there's another bride who happens to be in the bar, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, you're a bride too. It's like, oh, so drunk. I loved it. That was my best drunk impression. Sorry.
Yeah.
Since I'm just drinking tea. Yeah, I'm not getting drunk on that. And I love it when she's like, that's great. My whole bridal party bailed to go to church. It's like, first of all, I felt really bad for that bride.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, you have a bridal party that's like, no, we're not going to go to your bachelorette party. We're going to go to church instead. It's like, ooh, ouch.
Yeah, but who starts their bridal party at noon on a Sunday?
That's pretty much what Nicole said.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
I thought that was funny. It's like,
Waverly
oh.
goes, duh.
Well, maybe she was still going from last night. We don't know.
True. I mean, look at Wynonna. She seems to
Right.
be still going from the night before.
True. But this unknown bride drags Nicole over to the bar to get shot, which started to kind of worry me because I'm like, is this a setup? Because I
Right.
see setups everywhere now.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem to be a setup. Poor Waverly's like getting a little jealous. And she's like, listen, first of all, you're both engaged, both bride, not just
Right.
Waverly by herself. And she's like, and everyone knows you and loves you, and that hot ginger is off the market.
Yeah.
So don't worry. And Wynonna and Waverly, I'm like having a brain fart, are starting to discuss the fancy wedding, but Nicole doesn't really want a fancy wedding because this is her second wedding, which again, I had forgotten
Right.
because it just seems like it was so long ago. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're bringing it back up. We're going to wrap things up, hopefully. But she doesn't want a fancy wedding, but Waverly always has, because Wynonna reminds her, you've had bridal scrapbooks since you were like 10.
Right.
And you know Nicole will do what you want or come somewhere into the middle. Just tell her. And that's just like, oh, that's sweet. But doesn't seem to be working for Waverly for some reason.
Right. She doesn't want to cause
And-
wave.
Yeah. Waves doesn't want to cause waves. Oh my goodness. Then the next dancer is introduced, Dimitri, who seems to have a craptastic attitude.
He just does not look like he has any interest in being a stripper.
No. And he turns around, kind of takes off his vest, and we see scars on his back. And I was like, oh, what does this mean?
Right.
And this is my question for you, because Waverly's like, I think I know him. All right. Even all the way through the end of the episode, they never came back to that.
Well,
So what do we think that is? Is it because she was part angel? Like it's just kind of in her DNA or something?
no. Dimitri was the guy who told Waverly and Nicole to get a room in the motel parking lot.
Oh, that's okay. Like I know we mentioned that already, but
Yeah.
like when she said, I think I know him, I'm thinking
No,
it was something
like
way
somebody
deeper.
from school or something. Yeah, I just think she probably should have said, I think I recognize him, not know him.
okay.
A little writing.
That makes a little
faux
more
pas there.
sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But hey, next thing we know, the stripper, Dimitri, because of course that's not his real name, right? Is sitting at the table with Wynonna and Waverly when Wynonna brought several more shots back. My God, they're pounding them back.
Yeah.
And I just find it amusing because Dimitri is guessing by Wynonna's references that she has joined the I'm off of love club.
Right.
And of course, when she bitches about her ex, Dimitri's like, maybe you should try women. But then again, that never works out either.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I'm Pan. And when he says that, I thought, oh my God, they're bringing another like ancient god into this.
Right.
And I'm like trying to hurry up as I'm watching it and look up. It's like, okay, what does he do? All right, he was like the guy who was playing the flute thingy. I'm like trying to hurry up and do all of this.
Right.
And again, throw me a curveball, why don't you, Emily? Because it's not even where we ended up.
No.
But yeah, I was like, try to find as much information as fast as possible. Google machine, don't fail me now. That's basically what I was like trying. But did you like look at anything about Pan when he said that?
No.
Or did you not even try?
No, I figured I'd just kind of let this one ride out. When he says he's a love professional and yet has this attitude, I kind of thought, where are we actually going with this? And it didn't hit me at first, but then it goes, oh, yeah, I should have had a V8.
See, I didn't get it, honestly. I mean, I should have. It should have like all fallen into pieces, but all because he said, I'm Pan, threw me the heck off.
Yeah. Well, the Pan referenced pansexual, so.
Oh my God.
You didn't realize that?
No. Oh my God. Seriously. No, I was thinking the God Pan, not thinking anything beyond that.
Right.
Not until way later when it's finally just like hit you upside the head because I'm going to just say it out loud.
Yeah.
But I never realized that it meant he was pansexual. Jesus Christ. Yes, everyone. I am that slow, apparently, because this is about 24 hours after I've watched it and it still never clicked. Wow. I don't even feel like I'm worthy to continue because I'm messed up. All right. Sorry, everyone. I'm a doofus. All right. Let's keep going. But the conversation with Waverly and Dimitri, when Dimitri says there's no real love, and I know that for a fact because I'm a love professional, and of course Waverly in her utter sunshine and happiness ideal, she's like, yeah, love is the only thing that's real because Nicole died for me. She literally died for me, and I would kill for her, which she has, but we're not gonna go too deep into that right now.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for you that you can't feel that much. And he's like, okay, want to bet on it? And I love it. Waverly's like, I don't know how we can prove who won, but yeah, sure. And you just knew when that was said. Again, I was still stuck on the God Pan and something was going to happen. He's like, all right, little wink and a nod. Hey, tell your sister she's a delightful lunatic. And good luck spreading the real love throughout the world, as he slips something into her pocket. And I'm like, oh crap. Because then he walks away and his eyes turn red, but they turn into like little hearts.
Right.
And I'm like, what is he, a meme? Or an emoji? What is happening? But seriously, like, I was kind of freaking out about it. So I was like, okay, let's just, But things really start getting weird. And again, didn't pick it up right away because apparently I'm kind of slow. I definitely should have had more caffeine before I watched. We see Nicole and Waverly at the municipal building, but not knowing if anyone's there because Claytons are gone. Who's minding the store? I don't know. We need a marriage license, so there's got to be an application here somewhere, right?
Yep.
And as they're talking and not paying attention to their surroundings, they get interrupted by Bunny, who, oh my God, Bunny. She is just so funny. I don't know what else to say. Because she's just like dripping bile as she talks to them.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know how long it's going to take because Clantons aren't around, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, listen, we need to get this. Quit being your homicidal, homophobic self and just give us a marriage license. And I mean, Nicole at first was very standoffish with everything.
Right. Yeah. She was ready to attack Bunny for.
Right. And then we suddenly see like a little sparkly glitter heart, which I'm sorry. I don't know who managed to do this, if they used super fine tweezers to get a single glitter that they were able to flick off, because everybody who's ever used glitter knows that you can't just get one.
No.
And the glitter is everywhere. And this is what makes me wonder whoever had to clean up the stuff at the end, like after the big scene, if they didn't want to just like smack the hell out of everybody who thought that was a great idea.
Right.
They're going to be fighting it for like weeks. But anyway, side note, sorry. Nicole flicks the little sparkly heart off of her, and she happens to look at Waverly, and I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Right.
Because we have like this runway model, like commercial, bright light, the harp music, the hair blowing,
and the sensual look.
Yes, and like the little almost kiss, and like I was dying looking at this. And then all of a sudden, Nicole's like, hey.
Yeah.
And super PDA was like about to happen. And I've never seen Waverly get so irritated so fast.
No.
It's like, whoa. And then Bunny, oh my God, I thought Bunny was going to die.
Yeah.
Although it did get Bunny to just sign the license and hurry up and give it to them.
Yes, it did.
I don't get what the whole hand sanitizer thing was.
Well, she's homophobic, so she doesn't want to get any diseases just being around those two lesbians.
I'm like, she's like putting a bunch of hand sanitizer on before she even like signs the marriage license.
Right? That's how homophobic she is.
Like, okay, weirdo. And like they get the license, and again, hand sanitizer, handshake, hand sanitizer. And great, because Bunny happens to see a little shiny heart on her and looks at Waverly. And great, we get the same thing that happened. I'm like, what is going on? As Waverly tells Nicole, go home, take several cold showers, and think only of Band of Brothers. Now, see, there's a lot of really hot guys in that show.
Right, yes.
So
and
for
that's
me,
why
that doesn't work.
Yes.
But, yes, the overall story, very deep, very different. Not exactly like, ooh, hot guy kind of attitude, but just seeing them, whole different story for me. But, anyway, moving on. I have a very hard time. It's like, all right, so we go to Eamon's bar, which I forgot the name.
The glory
I don't know
hole.
if I forgot or I just like blocked it out.
I think you just blocked it out.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because we see Waverly. When did she have time to do this? She had apparently baked an apple pie.
Right.
As a peace offering so that we could maybe have a truce, monster truce. So just one day, just so I can get married and not have the world come crashing down. Well, first of all, really, I would love that for you too, Waverly, but chances are not good.
Right.
But instead of answering right away, Eamon asks about Cleo. Was she in the office? And Waverly's like, no, but something big has happened, right? Especially to take Ma'am Clanton out. Are you forgetting that something big was you?
Yeah. No, she's not admitting to anything.
Yeah, apparently she's blocking that out. And of course, Eamon's like, well, Waverly, I understand Nicole's concerns, and maybe we can have a truce, but that's only because he happened to also find a sparkly heart on himself because Waverly decided to boop Eamon's nose.
Yeah, ping his nose.
Yeah, it's like, boop. Oh, and there's a sparkly heart on you. And again, cute, seductive. I want to say almost telenovela level.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
close-up.
Absolutely.
And great. Things are not going to go the way we want. But
No.
Eamon does say, I will do anything for you to make sure your day is amazing. And that kind of scared me.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, is this going to turn almost homicidal? Because he obviously is a vampire and has strength and speed and stuff that Nicole doesn't have.
Yeah.
So I got really worried when that was said.
Yep.
But she doesn't even think about it. She's like, yes. And off goes Happy Waverly outside, and she happens to catch Doc. And great, she hugs him. And I'm like, why are you touching people?
Yes. She doesn't
See,
know.
of course, like part of me is like, it's a pandemic. Don't touch anyone.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, people are acting really weird after you touch them. Maybe don't touch them. And then finally, reality sets in going, she doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's why she's touching everyone. But Doc does catch her and ask what really happened to Ma'am. And she says she doesn't remember. Now, I don't know if she really doesn't remember or
Probably not.
if she's blocked it out.
Yeah, I
Or
think
if it's
she's
like, oh, go ahead.
blocked it out.
I was going to say, or if it's something like with, that was the angel side, so she doesn't really have control
Right.
of that, so she doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
So it's almost like two separate personalities.
Yes, absolutely.
But it was interesting because we do see a little sparkly on Doc, but he kind of pops it away, but we don't see him suddenly get the Waverly.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
He doesn't notice it until a little later.
Oh, was it that long?
Yeah.
Huh, I wonder why he didn't get it right away.
Well, they hugged, and that's when he got it on his shoulder, but he mentions Cleo, and somebody should go check that out. And so Waverly leaves, and he goes to head to the junkyard.
Oh, Oh, see, it wasn't clicking. Like, they have to, like, notice it?
Yes, you have to notice the sparkle heart on you. And as soon as you touch it, the first person you see, you go gaga over.
Okay. That makes a little more sense now.
Right.
See, the pieces start falling in place.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, Dimitri didn't bother to inform Waverly of any of this stuff. So
No, and then when we get to Dimitri, like, the information that he passes on, it really starts making me think, like, wait a second, this doesn't even seem like it should have gone off because it shouldn't have passed. But we'll get there. Let's talk about the homestead for a second. We have Waverly returning, finding Nicole going through all the bridal scrapbooks that Wynonna had just mentioned. Well, apparently there was a crap ton. Great. And Nicole's like, yes, I'm bursting with love, and I'm Mount Hot. And Waverly's like, what the heck? You were super standoffish, and then you turned into a horny octopus. What is going on with you? Are you possessed? I love how she pinches her.
Right.
Ow. It's like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute. Didn't she feel pain when she was possessed before? What?
Yes.
I don't get that part, but... And Waverly isn't too happy because she's like, are you making fun of me in my scrapbooks? Because at one point she's like, do you want a skywriter? Or do you want a skydive? Yes. I can't remember what it was. It's like, what? Stop it. Stop looking through my stuff. I was 10. It was cool.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling. And listen, Nicole's like, suddenly you can have whatever you want with the wedding, and we need a hashtag. And this is what I thought was hilarious, because we hear a car horn and Waverly's like, I'll be back. She goes outside and Nicole is going through different, like, possible hashtags. And then she says, way hot? No, that's ridiculous. I'm like, all right. Thank you for giving a nod to all of the fandom who has been saying way hot forever.
Yep, that was nice.
I thought that was great.
Yes.
This is one of the shows that does really bring in stuff from the fandom.
Yep.
Kevin Batchelor.
Yes.
He could, maybe explain that a little better. But yeah, just the fact that they do that, I think, is great. Total aside again. Thank you, Wynonna Earp family, for being out there and doing that and getting these little things on the screen, because it just makes us, the rest of us, feel like, oh my God, they really listened.
Yep.
All right, let's come back. We see Bunny. What the hell is Bunny doing there? That's all I was thinking. Bunny, why are you here? But you can't marry Nicole. Great. Why? Did you give us the wrong license? What's going on? And she's like, oh my God. It gets so weird. Waverly, of course, is like, get your homophobia self and get out of here. I don't want you around. And Bunny's like, no. And then it gets weird. Yeah. I've never gayed before. And I'm not quite sure if I'm gaying right. But here, I went to every craft store and I got you this huge bouquet of fake roses, red roses.
Faux roses or something.
Yeah, I was like, I can't remember how she said it. And Waverly's like, what? Get back in the car and get out of here. No, let me try. Will you marry me? What? What is happening? And I love it because she throws the roses out at her and she's like, I want you to have these. And right when she does that, drives off the back and the tailgate.
The tailgate of the truck drops.
And Wynonna is there going, what is happening?
Still drunk.
With the gold stripper chef's hat.
Yeah.
Waverly thinks it's got to be a prank or some kind of who knows weird thing happening. And I love it because Wynonna's like, it's a day that ends in Y. It's like, what? And Waverly suddenly thinks about that bet that she made. And she's like,
maybe it could have something to do with that.
Yeah. And Wynonna just, what the hell? Why are you laying out there? There's snow on the ground. Isn't it a little cold to be sleeping in the back of a truck?
Right.
With just like a bra top on?
Right.
Because Waverly does bring Wynonna a cup of coffee. Yay. And decides to share her concerns. Maybe something could be wrong with Bunny. And Nicole was all like standoffish and then super affectionate. What's going on? And of course, Wynonna, she's so classy.
Yep.
And she's like, maybe it's just your magical coochie. Waverly. It's like, shut up. You are not helping me.
Right. And she said it very sarcastically. I mean, if you really think about where Wynonna's headspace is right here, she's jealous that all of a sudden Waverly's getting all this attention when she's craving it. And
even though she is basically craving attention from everyone, I think she only wants it from Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Wynonna's like, I gotta go talk to Eamon. And of course, bad thing, because because Waverly helped Wynonna with her talk, and off Wynonna goes. This could just end well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, so much going on. Let's go to Magpie Junkyard. I say junction. It's the junction. Anyway, Doc arrives and we see Ma'am Clanton's body in not so good shape in a chair. And I'm like, why is that there? Because it wasn't there.
No, because they were inside. So
yeah,
Cleo drag her body out of the house and put her in that rocker. I don't know.
Doc hears a noise and ends up going over. He's like, I'm going to count to 5, come out, finds Cleo. And Cleo's like, are you here to kill me? And of course, Doc's like, no, I promised your brother that I wouldn't. But she wants him to. And I know Doc isn't going to do it, right?
Right.
But I'm thinking, if he does it, do all of the Reapers get like set free?
Yep.
Does this curse finally end?
Right.
Does, I'm like, there's all these little things like, what if?
Yeah.
Makes me wonder. But Doc's like, we need to tend to your mother because she shouldn't just be out there like that. And I'm like thinking there's going to be some creepy things coming soon if they're not already there. And Cleo's like, no. She needs to tell me what to do next. It's like, oh, this is not good. No. Cleo has lost her shit is all I'm thinking.
Yes, she absolutely has.
And this is when Doc happens to notice the sparkly heart on his jacket and knocks it off. And that's why it just didn't dawn on me that they have to see it.
Right.
I thought for some reason it like just didn't appear right away for him or something.
No.
And then he looks at Cleo and she has her, awesome close up.
Right.
But he tells her instead of just like getting handsy, which I'm grateful for.
Right.
Because I think, yes, I was a Wynonna and Doc. I don't want to say shipper. That just seems so bad. But like, I think I would have just been mad. But I think it's because more of his attitude. Like, he's not handsy. Whereas I guess Nicole and Waverly were like, hey.
Yeah.
So he tells her she's brave and fierce and tenacious, and you're about to tear my heart in two because you're crying. And all of a sudden she's like, what?
Yeah. She under her breath goes, wow, that was hot.
Right. Like her face is just like, oh, okay. And Cleo's like, Ma'am said everyone involved with the Earps were evil, but obviously, okay, not so much here.
Right.
But Doc keeps going, look at yourself, and your eyes are sharp, and there's beauty, and there's all of this, and I'm just like, I'm not liking this the whole time he's doing this. I'm like, I'm not comfortable.
He's doing just what we don't need. He's bringing Cleo back from despair.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And it's your turn to do whatever you're supposed to do and be your own legacy. And again, I'm going, oh, this is not good.
No.
This is not good. So great. Does she now have like a little sidekick?
Sure seems
because that's
that
what it
way.
Kind of comes up. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, she does happen to mention, I'm so glad Ma'am and Nicole's plan didn't work out for you.
Right.
And while everybody seems to be getting more and more involved with anybody they've seen with the heart, Doc's like, what do you mean? And this is what I thought was weird because all of a sudden he was not so focused on her, but wanted to know what was said.
Yeah, what the deal was.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe he's not all in. Like, whereas everybody else is getting sucked in, he doesn't seem to be, like, sucked in all the way.
Right, yes. He hasn't been affected as much as everybody else has, that's for sure.
Which makes me wonder if it's because his curse and he's a vampire and...
It could be.
Because he still loves Wynonna. Yep. They had a kid. I mean, there's all sorts of things that could be pulling him back.
Right. But the damage is done, I'm afraid.
Yeah. We find out that they made the deal to get Waverly out of the garden. In return, well, Nicole would give them you.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Okay. So he understands and drives off, which I was just like, what does this mean?
Yeah. Nothing good.
No. We go back to the glory hole because Wynonna goes to talk to Eamon again, only she's not just going to talk. She is, I don't know, super mad for a second or something. But then she notices the heart and things go very weird.
Yeah.
And listen, you oversexed gunslinger, basically. She's calling Eamon all sorts of things. He's calling her this. And Wynonna's like, oh, no, I'm a very, very sexual being. And Eamon's like, nope. He tries to make a run for it. Wynonna is like all over him, and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, why aren't you sleeping with me? And he goes, because I love Waverly. And again, I was thinking things are going to get bad because she says, why? What is it about her? Because she's so pure and cute, and this doesn't make sense because look at you. And of course he's like, no, because normally Doc is at the top of my lust chart, but I don't know. I only want Waverly.
Yep.
And I was thinking things were going to get ugly. Like all of a sudden he's affected. Things are going to get crazy ugly. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was worried, like, great, is this love going to turn into crazy murder? So we go and we find Waverly, who has figured some stuff out.
Right.
Kind of. So she goes to the hotel and finds Dimitri. Of course, she's like, don't look at me or you'll fall in love. And he's laughing. He's like, I'm immune to the spell. And she's like, wait, it's a spell?
Right.
Like, make everyone stop. And he's like, it shouldn't be so hard if you're doing everything right. Of course, she didn't know what the hell's going on because he didn't tell her anything.
Exactly.
It's like, you made this craptastic bet, but you didn't tell me what's what. She's like, what are you talking about? You need to fill me in. And he's like, didn't you do your laundry, little girl? Check your pockets. And out comes that vial with all the little sparklies. And he explains, oh yeah, little secret sauce on people. They fall in love. And make sure they're going to see the person that they're supposed to fall in love with because they fall for the first person they see. And I love it because Waverly is then chasing him into the lot because he's like, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not delivering food. Better tip. I get to eat the french fries that fall out of the bag. And you can't do the job. That's not my fault. Because all I had to do is to find somebody to take my place who was willing. And she's like, hello, all of this is not right. It completely ignores consent.
Right.
And I was thinking right there, that's not what she was talking about. She was talking about if the people who fall in love, if it leads to sex.
Right.
Which he does mention. It's you modern, so single-minded.
Yeah.
That doesn't come into the equation unless that's what they really wanted.
Yeah. Like Wynonna.
If she didn't give consent to become what we find out is Cupid.
Yes.
How did she become Cupid? That's where I was stuck.
Right.
And I know it's stupid to get stuck there, but it's like, wait, I don't understand.
It was the bet.
See, and I don't feel like that would have really
Right. He
worked.
didn't completely give her the whole story to get her consent to take it.
Yeah,
but
that's why I'm
still
like,
enough to pass it on to her. He's a sneaky bastard.
apparently.
Sneaky.
And
demon.
that's when Waverly realizes the scars on your back were wings. He's like, yeah, I had them removed. So it makes me wonder, great, do they start growing? Is Waverly going to have wings?
Waverly going to have 2 sets of wings now?
Right. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, don't forget, you're going to have to start telling people why you're not a fat little baby either.
Right.
I'm like, well, he just seems like a happy camper. We go back to the homestead and Waverly tells Wynonna what's going on. And she's like, are you sure I touched you? And Wynonna, of course, is like, I am 5 by 5. Nothing's wrong here.
Yeah.
And she does start acting a little weird, but not, I guess, too out of the new normal for Wynonna weird.
Right.
And Waverly's like, maybe I should just not go to the party. And of course, you can't not go to your own engagement party. This is your engagement party. So Wynonna's like, I bet Nicole has a big surprise for you. It's probably your name tattooed across her boobs, which are great. And Waverly's like, oh no, are you in love with Nicole? She's like, no, I'm just making sure you're still in love with her.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And Wynonna's like, maybe you leave the little glitter here.
Yeah.
And maybe things won't be weird. So when Waverly puts it down, Wynonna makes up an excuse. Hey, can I borrow some mascara? And takes the vial and puts it into her bra.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good.
No.
But I'm thinking, wait, would it even work? Because Waverly didn't give it to her.
Right.
Yes, there's a lot of questions I have for this episode. Making me crazy. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's go to the bar for the party. We have Wynonna and Waves arrive. Of course, Waverly is, I want to say, immediately surrounded, greeted by Bunny, Nicole, and Eamon, who are all like, look, I have this for you and this. And I am so glad that we didn't have a ton of people there.
Right.
Because Waverly's like, okay, this is weird. But Waves is like, why are you here, Bunny? And she's like, you didn't call me. I have 2 phones with the exact same number, so I wouldn't miss your call. So I'm like, okay, you probably just have it forwarded, but whatever. And Eamon, why are you here with all these balloons? Like, this is getting strange. She does not know about Eamon, though. At least she didn't at that point.
Right.
And Wynonna, of course, is like, hey, Eamon, what's up? Oh, this isn't good. But Wynonna grabs Bunny, takes her to the bar, and tells Nedley, get her plastered.
Right.
And this is what I thought was weird, because like I said, the sparkles weren't transferred exactly, but because Wynonna touched Nedley's hand, suddenly Nedley has a sparkly heart, and he sees Bunny, and that's just weird too.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel, because Nedley knows everything, and if somehow Bunny finds anything out, I mean, she did see that weird gnome at one point, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe she's just really good at denial.
Yeah.
And the flirting between Nedley and Bunny starts, and it's like, this is strange. And Eamon's flirting with Waves, and of course, Nicole is attached to Waverly's side.
Yes.
And Wynonna is trying to attach herself to Eamon. I can't with this weird group, because Eamon's talking about being a matador, and Waverly's like, okay, why are you telling me this? And Wynonna's all, I could ride a bull, or be ridden like one. It's like, okay, this is not going the way we want it to go. This is getting awkward.
Yeah. Why do we want Wynonna to sleep with a demon?
Right. Oh, I kept thinking he was a vampire. No, he is a vampire, right?
Yeah, he is a vampire.
Yeah.
But still,
So,
same thing.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
And things just get crazy, because we have Bunny trying to sing and Wynonna trying to get Eamon to motorboat. And suddenly you have Nicole mad and Nedley mad and Eamon mad. And they're all trying to sing to other people all at the same time and get everybody's attention. And it's like, what is going on?
Yes.
But as all this craziness is happening, thankfully Rachel didn't touch anyone.
Yeah, at least.
But she grabs the keys and goes down in the basement. I'm just thinking, great, you're going to be attacked. Nobody's going to know. This isn't good.
Right.
All this craziness happening, Waverly calls Doc and she's like, you seem to not be affected by this. I need you here. Well, he is affected. We just don't know what's happening because it's being affected off screen with Cleo.
Right.
Really hoping things didn't get really weird. Oh, we'll see. All right. Doc is there finally while Waverly's trying to tell him what's going on. And then we cut away because then we get Rachel in the basement and sees nobody. She goes to walk out of the basement, which I thought she knew the situation. Am I forgetting?
No, I think she knew it.
But she's like, oh, there's nothing here.
Right.
But then we hear a growl and the chains move and she screams and I'm just thinking, God, no.
Yes.
We go back and Doc is trying to figure out everything. But right when this is happening, we get Dimitri come in. He's like, I have an order for Waverly. Well, crap.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was you. How do you not know? Did you not get her name at least once?
Right.
This is probably not good because Dimitri is talking to Waves and we're trying to get some information. And that's when Wynonna is up on a table. And suddenly Dimitri's like, fine, I'll take it back. Where's the vial? Waverly's like, oh, I left it at home. He's like, are you sure? Because we turn around and we see Wynonna fighting to open the sparkles. And she's talking about golden shower for everybody.
Yeah.
Which, no, don't ever say that again, Wynonna. And suddenly, tragedy, kind of.
Yes.
Because sparkles everywhere. I'm scared of what's going to happen. At least Rachel isn't up there, but Rachel could be in danger. What's the what?
Right.
It chills out and we see basically everybody dancing with everybody. Doc and Nedley dancing, talking about how can't believe we're great friends and I'm the greatest gunslinger. And Eamon telling Bunny, I can't believe that Bunny failed, that you've been hiding and we just keep dancing. And I'm like, wait, what? And of course, Nicole and Wynonna for like a second, like, if we're not sisters-in-law, can we try stuff? Maybe we should just test it. And Waverly is like, Dimitri, you need to tell me something. I just need info because this is weird.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Dimitri's spit can destroy love and create balance because the universe craves balance. Can't talk today. Nicole thinks, of course, maybe Wynonna and her should do something for science. And they start switching partners.
Yeah.
And it ends up where Doc and Wynonna are finally dancing together. And I thought it was going to go to a whole different place because like they're looking at each other like seriously.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, are they finally going to get back together? Like it's going to, whatever, the spell's going to be broken, but they're going to still be okay.
Right. You kind of hope that's going to happen.
Because Waverly even says it. She's like, oh, I can almost see the love vibrating off those two. And Dimitri's like, it's fake because your sister and her glitter bomb. It's like, no, but he's always so sad. Wait a second. Why are you always so sad? You're Cupid.
Yeah.
And so he tells her that he had his heart broken by Eamon.
Yep.
After 2 years together, he was told he bored him. And, well, that's not good. So, see, Waverly in her constant, again, sunshine, says this true love does exist because you loved each other. You wouldn't hurt so bad if you didn't really love him.
Right.
It's like, fine. Let's do this. And I love that they both have straws and they're going to do spit wads.
Yeah.
And Dimitri's like, aim for the butt. Love lives in the butt. What?
Yeah.
Love lives in the butt. It will undo the mess, but makes me wonder if there's any residual.
Right.
So as this is all happening, we get them shooting spit wads at everybody, and apparently it hurt.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what the heck they were spitting. And hits everybody in the butt. And as that was happening, Rachel's downstairs still, and we hear Billy talk to her. So she can hear him, and he says he wants to go home. So I'm like, okay, he's like not just a Reaper monster kind of thing.
Right.
So that's good, right?
Possibly. Yep. I think there might be some hope for Billy yet.
I hope so. That's all I can say.
Yep.
But everyone gets shot in the butt. Everybody's like, oh, okay, things are weird. Wynonna gets shot in the butt first and then Doc. And they start to pull away. And Wynonna's like, I don't want to let go. And that hurts because Doc doesn't say anything. He just lets go and walks away.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Rip your heart out time.
It was too much. I'm like, I need a timeout.
Yeah.
And then we have Bunny, who's just drunk off her ass, who doesn't understand what happens, but, good luck, basically.
We can never speak of this again.
Yeah. And Nedley drives her home. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm liking that because Nedley kind of had a smirk, and I'm like, oh, what is happening?
Right. That residual you mentioned might be happening.
We do know that Nicole has at least come around that they're going to have a medium fussy wedding.
Yep.
And Dimitri's like, you know what? I picked you because I've never actually seen somebody so in love.
Right.
But hey, I got to get back to my deliveries. And he's all like, yes, fine, I'm coming. Like,
yeah. The burgers are still warm.
Probably not, but yeah.
No.
So we have two last scenes that had me going, oh, why?
Yes.
At the glory hole, we have Wynonna there again, and Eamon's like, are you here to kill me again this time?
Right.
Nope, I'm just here to see you. It's like, I wasn't sure if you were going to be alone. And Eamon tells her that Dimitri came in, yelled at him for having no soul, and apparently Wynonna identifies with that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to stop feeling guilty for what I am. And he looks at her a little confused, and he says, finally, you're a very confusing woman. And she's like, and flexible. As she takes off her gun, which he does look at gun, which worries me.
Yeah.
And Wynonna's like, are you still in love with my sister? And he's like, no. She's like, oh, great. Want to show me how to ride the bull?
Yeah.
And scene on those two. And I am not
liking it at all. Nope.
No, don't want this. Grr. Now, part of this is because I don't know where Doc went. Because we go back to Magpie's junkyard and we don't see Doc there, thankfully.
Yeah.
But we do see Cleo pushing a wheelbarrow. And she's talking to the wheelbarrow.
Right.
Saying, whichever one of us kids becomes a Clanton heir, Mam's plan was to have him turn her into a Reaper to avenge the Clanton name. I keep saying Clayton. But we see her stop at a square that looks like maybe an old well, and there's a fence around it too. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And Cleo just keeps talking. I will destroy every one of our enemies and everything you've ever wanted, but no, ma'am, you are not going to be a Reaper.
No.
Because I'm never going to forgive you for doing what you did to Billy. And all of a sudden she's like, dinner, and starts throwing pieces of Mam down this well.
Right.
So apparently that's where all the Reapers are.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we see footprints walking, and Cleo stops, and she's like, Billy, you came home. It's like, oh, God.
Yes.
Because she says it's time to take back what's ours. Do we think that Billy is going to be able to fight her? That's
think
my big question.
I think if it comes to Rachel or Cleo, he will pick Rachel. Now, anybody else, that's a fair game.
This is going to get weird.
Yes, it is. What an episode.
Oh, okay. So I'm so glad we're back, and I want to know what everybody else was thinking about this episode because Steve and I were like, what?
Yes.
So what did we get? I understand there's something ready to share with everyone.
Absolutely. Jazz got her thoughts in on this episode, so let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, this is Jazz, and I have a review for Wynonna Earp, Season 4, Episode 7. I love seeing the cast on my screen again, and it warmed my heart to see how lighthearted this particular episode was. It's important to have lighthearted as well as scary and dark episodes to even them all out. I love the fact that the Jane Arden actually sang the part of the song Insensitive that she wrote many years ago. So I thought that was very cool and impressive. So they did a nod to the fans of the song, and she's a Canadian treasure from what I know. So she plays Bunny. Very cool. I personally think that Mercedes saved Calamity Jane because pets and animals in general are not allowed to die in films and movies and TV. That's just wrong. So I think that Rachel, being a teenager, was just teasing Nedley over the fact that she probably can't remember, or he can't remember what he did. So she's probably just teasing him about that just because that's what teenagers do. I like the fact that the ladies got a bunch of rings from one another. This one I think was blue that Nicole gave to Waverly, which was very pretty, and also wasn't a Bolshar ring, which I thought was awesome because that one is gross, ugly, and just full of trouble. So a regular everyday ring was very nice. I was happy to see them actually getting together, even getting a wedding license through heck or high water to get Bunny to deliver it, as well as some people being a little more amorous than they should have been, considering they didn't like PDA in the beginning, and now like pretzels and all sorts of stuff. So that was definitely good to see. I'd liked seeing them actually being in love and getting together and not having it snatched away from us, at least for one episode. So pleased about that. It seems like it's going to continue to go on, at least for a little while. I was sad to see Wynonna and Dark brokenhearted because he feels betrayed by Wynonna and then later on by Nicole. And, it's interesting that Wynonna killed Holt, who was the sheriff, and she hasn't gotten in trouble for that yet, who was a human, and she shot him in the back because he was a bad guy and he would come after their family eventually. But yet, she let the demon, Eamon, live because I guess he was cute and she liked him a lot in many different ways. I'm not sure you're supposed to be that flexible with who you're going to kill and who you're not. So it's human, no, boom, dead. Demon, he's cute, I'll let him live for a little while. So I can see Doc's point in not liking that, especially the shooting in the back part. But also, not everybody else used to be a vampire in the previous season, killed Waverly's dad and Wynonna's boyfriend, and, wanted everybody to forgive him being a horrible vampire last season who got back up together with Big Nose Kate, who did not have a big nose, and he betrayed a whole bunch of other people and killed a whole bunch of innocents. So I don't think he really can be standing on his high horse very much, considering. So I love that everybody was dancing when they had that session going on, and everybody seemed happy. Love to see that. It made for some very interesting dance moves as well as pairings and some one-liners. Do you have a bunny tail? Would you like to look? Oh, those were very cute. I love the fact that Doc and Nedley had a nice dance. Curling champions and Doc mother kissing holiday. So I thought that was all very cool. We talked about Cleo. That later was part of the issue. He went to go find out Cleo and gave her a pep talk. And so now she's going to be a pain in everybody's side. But to Cleo's credit, I saw that she had buried her brother Holt because there was a tombstone right next to the Reaper's cage. And her mom was a horrible, evil person who wasn't even nice to her kids. She killed one of them off, who was Billy, and she broke her daughter's wrist for, not to mention, put her finger through the hole that she had in her hand. Just a horrible person. So I totally support her in feeding her mother to the Reapers because she deserved it and did not deserve to come back as a Reaper like she wanted. But by the same token, she's now going to be an issue, she and Billy, for Wynonna Earp. And I guess it wouldn't be much of a plot if they got away with it. And I'm sure she will be the big bad for a little while. Maybe there'll be a bigger bad. Wouldn't surprise me any if Cleo decided to use Doc's betrayal to her advantage with either a spell or trying to convince him that they didn't care for him anyways. And so that's why we see Doc pointing a gun at Wynonna later. Or it could be okay, I'm only pretending so I can figure out what her game plan is because, I want to make sure you guys are safe. All sorts of things could be going on. Can never tell. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. I'm sure some of the other episodes were going to be dark and horrible in terms of what happens to our beloved cast. So it was nice to see some positive ones. Yeah, I enjoy the puns and the one-liners and just generally like the ebb and flow of the series. Hope you all are doing well. One final note, the cast, I believe, stays on set for the 3 months or so it takes to make the season. In this case, it was broken apart. But I know in one of the interviews, Melanie had said that she was right next door to Dom, so they make coffee, or she makes coffee, and then she opens up the door and says, "Coffee's on!" And then Dom comes over and they start their day with a cup of coffee. So they're all good friends. I love the fact that they had, at the end of the episodes, little snippets with Jeremy, or rather Varun, talking about how he enjoyed the episode and the glitter got everywhere and what was that like. So I like those behind the scenes parts. I would highly recommend everybody get it on iTunes or wherever you can get it. iTunes give you the behind the scenes stuff and Amazon doesn't. So hope everybody is doing well. Pod dogs and family and everybody here is doing well. Podcats and everybody else. And I will talk to you later. Thank you. Once again, this is Jazz.
Yeah, Jazz, no pet death. At least nothing that we ever see on screen.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, they've all survived. They're all hanging out on a ranch somewhere and said, forget it. We're done with Ghost River Triangle. So Calamity Jane is somewhere running a ranch for the rest of the pet.
Yeah, that was an issue on Twitter when Rachel mentioned that. That got some fans fired up, that's for sure. But yeah, the episode was a lot of fun. Like you said, lighthearted. Enjoyed the hell out of it.
Now, I did not know that Bunny, Jane Arden, like she said, actually sang that song.
Wrote it.
Like, for real. In real life.
Actually.
So
yeah.
That was interesting. Thanks for that.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it was sad, and I believe I already said that once in this episode or 10,000 times about the whole Doc and Wynonna thing. And
yes.
Like, because you just seen how much Wynonna was loving him, and it was like, just twist the knife. Thank you.
Right.
So, yeah, you're killing me with the brokenhearted because you just seen it in her face. And again, a testament to the actors where you see their faces and you're like, oh my God, they're so in love. And then the crestfallen face. And even more so when Doc walks away. Like, and then she has to compose herself like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't bother me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think there was tears.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, the glitter bomb dance scene was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I do think that with Doc finding out about the deal that Nicole made, that there's going to be some issues there that are going to have to get resolved. And that may be part of what Nicole's issues are all about because she hasn't been the same. They got back. That's
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say, though, I mean, it makes sense that Cleo is going to be a new big pain in the butt. But the way everything's getting set up, do we have time for her to be a new big pain in the butt?
Right.
But at the same time, when Jazz, you mentioned Billy, I don't think any of the other Reapers spoke. And he at least spoke to Rachel and remembered her.
Right.
You know, Rachel, I want to go home. So
the other Reapers was just growling.
Right. So is he still there enough where if Cleo tries to do something, will Billy actually be a problem? Or will he like turn?
Right.
Because he didn't want anything to do with it. And he pulled the tooth out and everything. So this may be something different.
Right.
Billy may be a Reaper, but he may be like aware and have choices now that Mam's gone.
Right.
So that's something I just thought about because of what you said. So Jazz, thank you. Another rabbit hole for me to go down.
And we love going down rabbit holes.
And I don't know if I mentioned it. I love Dom's hair in this one, but I did not realize that they all stayed together, like so close.
Right. Yeah.
Which makes sense. And I don't know if it was mostly because of the pandemic and, you know, trying to keep exposure to a minimum, or if it's just that's what they've been doing or relatively similar to what they've been doing.
I think that's probably the way most location shoots go is they all stay in the same reasonable area, whether it's a motel or rental houses.
All I keep thinking then is like Glow, how they showed they were all in like this motel.
Yeah. Well, as always, Jazz, we really appreciate your feedback and looking forward to hearing what you think about the next episode.
Thanks, Jazz. All right. Well, you guys know how we feel, so let us know how you feel. Shoot us an email to, oh my gosh, let us know. We want to know. You can do it via just email or voice or tweet with us. And remember, when you're tweeting, hashtag, what's the newest one? Is Fight for Five.
Yeah, bring Wynonna home.
And you can shoot us emails all day long, or check out our website and our contacts page, because that'll give you every way to contact us. www.fangirlzone.com. While you're at it, if you can rate and review us on iTunes and every other platform you find us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends about this. If you haven't gotten them into this show by now, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
Because this is really good. I feel like it would capture you right away anyway, and they can catch up and watch the last little bit with you live, so we can all freak out and cry together. We, of course, hope you're enjoying the podcast, which is the point. But for this episode of Sci-Fi Talk, I am Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. Would you consider a slightly oversick gunslinger? I give great everything.
And until next time.